large agenda tonight. Said not a large agenda tonight.
Okay, I have 6 o'clock, time to call to order the Tuesday, October 28th, 2025 regular meeting of Charter Township of Long Lake Planning Commission. Roll call, please.
Murphy,
Here.
Rivera,
Here.
Wagner, Bott,
Here.
Paulson, Lyon,
Here.
and Rashay is absent and excused.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, approval of agenda.
So move.
That was Dan. Support. Okay. And Sherry moved. Okay. So we have approval of agenda. Conflict of interest statement. Oh, on the approval. Okay. All in favor of the approval of the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay. Then conflict of interest statement. Is there anybody that has any issues with tonight's agenda?
No, sir.
None? Okay, brief public comment for the public. Any person can speak up to 3 minutes. No takers. Okay. Okay, approval of the minutes for September 23rd, 2025 of the regular meeting.
Also move.
That was Dan. Okay, moved by Dan. Second by Sherry. Okay. All in favor of approval of minutes, say aye.
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 Any opposed? No? Okay, postponed business, none. Public hearings, we have none tonight. No pending business. New business, what do we have? Moving the November, December regular meetings, rescheduling options.
Yeah, so last meeting, staff mentioned that you won't have staff support for your November meeting and that your December meeting is a couple days before the holidays.
Right.
So the request was put in to have staff bring forth a couple of options in early December to combine those two regular scheduled meetings. So those 3 dates that I put on there are for you guys to choose one date. That's when the meeting hall will be open and we have the ability to do that. So whatever works for the best of the 7 of you, we can schedule that and then we'll have to note it, or I'll notice it in the paper so we can be good with the OMA rule. So whatever of those dates works best.
Okay. Does anybody have any particular dates of these 3 dates that don't work?
I can't do December 11.
Okay, so we have one there. Anybody else?
I'm good with all 3 of them.
Okay, so let's pick between the second and the fourth. Do we want to stay with Tuesdays? Does that work better for anybody just because we meet on Tuesdays, or?
Sure.
Is everybody good with Tuesday, December 2nd?
One quick second here.
Okay. No excuses if the date comes up, no. Okay, should we vote on that? or-
And then, yes, you'll just need a motion and a passed motion in order for
Okay,
me to
we have a
reschedule that.
motion for Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025.
I move we meet on Tuesday, December 22nd.
Support.
Okay, and that was Dan and Sherry again. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay, so that passes. Tuesday, December 2nd.
Does that
And-
replace 2 meetings or just one?
Yes, it does. It will replace the December and the November meeting.
Okay, and new business, B, multifamily dwelling unit discussion. So this came up a little bit as a surprise to me.
Sure.
I don't remember a discussion on this.
So we talked a little Go ahead, sorry.
No, so bring us up to speed.
Yep, so we talked a little bit about it in June or July. I mentioned that we had what I deemed and what I've confirmed with previous staff that is a bit of an administrative error, but the problem that it arises, well, let me back up. So next meeting on December 2nd now, staff's going to bring to you housekeeping recommendations for the zoning ordinance amendment so that things like misspellings or mispunctuation, things that don't have any effect on the administration of the book is going to be brought forth so that we can kind of clean up the book as we go. And the hope is to do that on an annual basis. Every November, December, we can do those housekeeping items to try to keep everything kosher. As part of that, staff was working through a pre-application meeting for a multifamily housing unit, which was a quadplex, I believe, if I'm remembering, quad or tri. And the problem that we ran across, and I'll get into further here, is our multifamily housing section currently states that the setback from multifamily has to be 15-foot setback from the front. Not minimum, not maximum, has to be 15. And I can't find anywhere in the record that that was an intentional change. It happened between 2008 and 2009 when we went through a full zoning ordinance change, and it looked more of a typo than an initiative by either staff or the planning commission. So part of the reason why I'm bringing up multifamily housing tonight is because I want to know whether or not we should include that change in the housekeeping section where we say either at least 15 feet or at least district minimum, whatever the short-term fix for that is, before we dive deeper into the multifamily housing section. So the master plan talks about readdressing our housing. So I know we just had our ADU discussion this summer, and we have not touched or looked at single-family, two-family, or multifamily housing in quite some time. So that was going to be a next topic of discussion. So the thing I'm trying to ascertain is whether or not to, so if you look in your packet, I guess let me just point it out right in the, under section 19.17, I have that highlighted, and what I'm talking about is item number 3A says first floor residential units shall have a 15-foot front yard setback. So that means that that person would have to put that building 15 feet from the road. Now that's the smallest setback we have in any district or for any use. So this is saying regardless of whether you're in moderate density or high density, you have to have it 15, not 16, not 14, 15 only. So I know that wasn't the intent originally. Maybe my understanding is the intent should have at least a 15-foot setback, allowing for somebody to get closer to the road if they want to with a higher density housing situation. But what I'm trying to ascertain today specifically is whether or not to include that in the housekeeping for next meeting, or whether or not we should include that in the deeper discussion on multifamily housing. And the reason why staff's bringing it up to you is because we've had a couple pre-application meetings now where folks have asked to build a two-family or multifamily house in a district that allows it, but they don't like that 15-foot setback because it doesn't match any of the other duplexes or quadplexes in the area. So
And those are likely set back further?
they are, correct, yes. That 15-foot setback, I can't find, and Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, anywhere in our book that we allow that 15-foot setback anywhere else. I think the example we used is what a full-size pickup is 21 feet long, so you wouldn't even be able to fit that outside of a garage. So there's other things with the multifamily that we need to address or at least take a look at, but that seemed to me like the easiest housekeeping is just put the word minimum in there, and then we know that it can be up to 15, but they can do it all the way down to 30 or 40 or whatever back, not exactly 15. So if the planning commission is okay doing that,
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that for a lot of people, a setback commonly is, they say 10-foot side setbacks, and that's generally, considered a minimum. I'd be interested if the other sections relating to other zoning districts have the same mistake.
As far as like the district regulations, they're all, what's 30 or closest setback in the front? Or I think
No,
our
no, no,
hydrants.
what I'm asking
Does it
is,
say minimum?
do they all just say setback, or do they say minimum setback?
They say setback. So normally that setback is so you can't go closer, not exactly where you're supposed to place the building. I don't know if it was, my assumption, and after talking with our previous planner and previous staff, is that was a typo.
Okay.
Because the district minimum, I believe, in moderate is 30 or 35, so that already doesn't jive. So if you put a single-family house in moderate, you can be further back off the road, but if you put a duplex, then you have to be right at 15. So that's why I think it's, staff would recommend that it's a housekeeping item, put minimum, and then we can move forward with our reviews on some of these that are looking to apply for that. And then we can get into a deeper conversation with some of the other provisions that are in there as far as like facades and that kind of stuff that's listed there. So that would be staff recommendation, but I can't change the ordinance, so I have to come before you guys and make sure you're on board with those proposals.
Okay, so realizing that it was likely a typo.
Yep.
And you've been entertaining applications, you said?
We've had pre-application meetings, so that's pretty
Okay.
common with folks who come in and say, hey, I want to build this, can I do that? And we'll sit down and talk them through the process. And-
So at least this part you'd like to get taken care of this evening would be beneficial.
I would like your guys' okay to put it in the housekeeping items. So like I mentioned, the housekeeping items are like, the word occupation is misspelled, so we have to correct that. But this is actually something of substance. It's not technically a housekeeping item, but I want to lump it in with that so that we can change it. Because in my opinion, and I think general staff's opinion, is it's a missed word. But words have lots of meanings, especially in a zoning ordinance. So I want to make sure everybody's on board with it before I just go ahead and do it.
Got it.
Did you say the other setbacks do say minimum, or they don't?
They don't. So typically a setback is just the boundary of where you can build to. It doesn't have a, I don't know how it's
It would
explained.
be like your low density residential, it just says 50 foot from the front, which is from the road right away, 40 foot from the rear, 15 on the.
So it's always a minimum.
It's-
Right.
Yeah, it's always, it's just a minimum.
So I don't know that you necessarily need the word minimum in there.
Our
I'm
our
fine with
definition
that,
of setback has minimum in it. It says the minimum horizontal distance measured from a lot line.
Right, the problem is this reads, first floor shall have a 15-foot yard setback. So if you have a 16-foot setback,
It's weird.
it's not technically, I mean, you're the one who would end up writing the permit.
It basically tells you that they have to be 15 feet, which is,
We don't do anywhere else.
so it's obviously was an error, but we cannot permit these permits with that saying that. So even if it just conforms to the district regulation, if they're in moderate density for your multifamily home, it meets the moderate density front setback, don't it? So I don't know if you just take it right out of there, or however you want to do it, but and then it's 35 feet from the front, just like, as I believe probably most of them are, like in Manhattan, those are all, moderate density lots, and I'm guessing have a 35 foot setback. So we just, I don't know, we don't know why that was.
It's just something that's been missed for 14 years, and we caught it happening.
It's probably not dealt with a lot.
Not typically. I think I've only had 3 meetings since joining here that I've even discussed that section with somebody looking to build it, so.
A problem with it changing, especially since the definition of setback includes the word minimum already. So I don't think it's a substantive change.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Staff would probably use the word at least a 15-foot setback, and then that way it allows them to go further back if
Sure.
they like. That's their choice, or at least their potential, so. If you folks are good with having that as part of the housekeeping, I'll add it in there and we'll go through those. We're not voting on it today, I'm just making sure that everybody's aware of it before I just willy-nilly put it into a lump sum, so.
Okay, so we need a motion to go ahead and do that.
Not even necessarily, I just want to make sure that I'm
Okay.
getting the right understanding, and it sounds like folks are seeming like that makes common sense, so. Just, if
Yeah.
I was going to get a lot of pushback, I wasn't going to lump it in, I didn't want to not pass housekeeping just because we had one outlier item. So
No.
staff will move forward to the next meeting with the understanding that we can change that verbiage to read better, and we'll go from there. looking forward to the future, I would encourage you to take a deeper dive into kind of the structure of the two-family and multifamily. Eventually, after the housekeeping items, staff is going to present you with some proposed changes for multifamily. Because right now, there's a better best practice that we can use to have a little more control and flexibility in how we do our housing for single, two-family, and quads, so, or multis. Like, we don't talk about triplexes at all, they're all lumped in. So somebody like an Edge 72 would have the same rules as somebody with a quadplex versus somebody with a triplex. That we don't have that flexibility to do a larger apartment complex to have more control over. So staff will come with some of those items here eventually. I just wanted to make sure this was squared away before we move forward, so
Okay.
I think that's all I have on that.
All right. Well, that sounds pretty straightforward and easy.
Perfect.
So we are, no vote necessary. So we go to second brief public comment. And any person in the audience, public, that would like to make a comment? Still no takers. Okay. Okay. Well, that too was easy. Okay, reports. Township Board report.
I have not been at the last two regularly scheduled township board meetings, and there was a special meeting in there too that I couldn't attend due to work conflicts, but basically in a nutshell, it's budget season. That's been the bulk of the focus. There really isn't anything too out of the norm for this budget cycle, you know, like every year, customer insurance goes up and, you know, things of that nature. I know that staff and Ron have been busy with some building projects down at Timbers Pavilion and Kay, help me out. What's the name of the park down there? John?
Twin Lakes.
Twin Lakes, thank you. I'm sorry, having an elderly man moment here, but that's about it. The special meeting was to reauthorize some work on a grant for the boat launch. I don't know, staff wants to throw anything else in noteworthy that I didn't hit on, but nothing really out of the ordinary. Our next, I believe in November, the ADU item will be presented to the public and the board, so.
I just got an update, sorry to interrupt you, I just got an update on the ADU ordinance, and it's actually going to be later than November. but
Okay.
I'll just let you know.
That's it?
Very good. Max is next, I believe. ZBA.
Yeah, the ZBA, we did have a case in October. It was a lot that was probably 90% wetlands. The gentleman actually bought 2 lots in order to have enough room to even build a minimum size home. And in order to meet the 24 by 24 minimum dimensions of a house per our ordinance, he needed I believe it was 8-foot something front yard setback variance to stay the minimum distance away from the wetland behind the house, and it was granted. It was well attended. There was quite a bit of opposition because of the wetland, but it was a use by right case.
That's the one in the peninsula?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Other than that, that was it.
That's it. I don't think we have a November case yet.
Okay.
No, we're good for the year.
Planner update?
Yeah, I've got a few things for you. The township board, I spoke with Supervisor Lemkool today. With it being budget season, it sounds like the ZOA ADU discussion will happen in either December or January, agenda permitting. So we are on a holding pattern on that still. Before I get to the straight North Long, East Long grant application update, there's a couple other things. One is staff attended the American Planning Association Michigan chapter conference last week. We got lots of good training and some new tips and tricks and best practices, so you might hear me present some of those over the next few meetings just to kind of keep us all on the new trends and best practices here. Also, planning and zoning departments today, we welcome the first day of our new OEO in training. His name is Greg Horncool. He started today and is off to a running start already. He's already done his first site visit. And he's under Matt and I's tutelage for a little while here. So let's all put him in our prayers and thoughts. But we're excited to have Greg, and he's well fit for the job. So. And then my last update is on that straight North Long, East Long intersection. As we all know, it's been kind of a topic of discussion over the past, I don't know, at least 18 months since I've been here, if not more than that. The County Road Commission, who owns the property, applied for a Fed grant in May. They heard back in October that they did not receive funding to move forward with that project. The Road Commission is already discussing new ways to apply for that grant again in May. Supervisor Lemcool and myself met with the Road Commission last week or the week before to discuss a few ongoing topics, that being one of them. There is a new method of applying for grants. So a lot of grants have a point-based system, and they will allocate dollars based on how well your application scores. Right now, it sounds like the Road Commission has been using a historic model to report things like crash data and the danger of the intersection using a looking back at the history model. There's also a different approved model where they can forecast moving forward that if they don't change the intersection, this is what they're anticipating will happen. That is their plan for this next grant cycle, is instead of using the historic model, they're going to use a forecasting model to see if they can score more points to get that grant approved. What that means for us is that we're hoping best case scenario, we got that grant application approved this year, and then theoretically shovels would be in the ground in 2027 for that intersection to be modified in some fashion. Now that won't happen until 2028 at the earliest if they are able to secure that grant funding. I did brainstorm with them a few different options to find other funding, including anything from a match to them reallocating projects. Currently, that is the only feasible way the Road Commission sees at getting that project approved and through is through that Fed funding. So unless we can come up with some money to do that, we're waiting on the Feds to give us money for it. So what that means for staff and the Planning Commission is some of the items we've been talking about with the activity centers, that being the North Activity Center, it's going to affect how we may or may not implement that. So I told you I'd come back with a report. That is what the Road Commission has given us, and that's where we stand on that intersection. And I believe that's all my items for my update.
Okay. Very good.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Do you know how the count on North Long Lake and West Long Lake, the traffic count?
I don't have that off the top of my head. That is something the Road Commission can provide us. I do know that it's significantly increased over the years, so.
Okay. And then the second thing is, how about, while we're in this pending zone here, would the Road Commission ever just slow that traffic down in that area?
So the Road Commission doesn't have control over speed limits. Speed limits is done by the Michigan State Police. They have to do a speed study, and then traditionally they've taken the 85th percentile with a max of 55. So if most people are driving 65 down that road, they take the 85th percentile, and obviously people are driving 60 down there, so it comes back down to 55 because that's the max they can do. If 85% of the people were driving 45, they could put it at 45. There has been some discussion, and forgive me, I don't know where it stands, if it's passed, but there was a bit of state legislation that would allow local government to change that percentile down to, I think, as low as 50%. But certain exclusions, and it would come down to the state police being willing to do a traffic study there and then working with us to set a new speed limit. So we'll have to go down that road with the MSP and see if they are willing to do so. They just had their long-term officer who did all those studies actually just retired not too long ago, a couple months ago. So they have a new person in that position, and when I was at the Road Commission, I got their contact info so that we could explore that option to see if that's something they'd be willing to do. But that's something the road commission nor us have control over, other than potentially asking for it, so.
Okay, because I know the road commission, they had the counters out. I saw them in 2 different locations, so.
They were counting them for, I believe, for the high school new entrance. They were trying to monitor that, because when they first put that light in, I think they had some timing off, and it added to a lot of backlog. And so I think, they hear about it, just like any government office. So they definitely heard that something was wrong, and so they were trying to fix that.
Right.
So,
I made a call on it. I mean, when it backs up to Gallagher's,
yeah,
something needs to be done. And they said that I called the school, and then I ended up calling the road commission, and they said they were working on, getting the timing straight in there, but that's already
Yeah.
after school had opened up, so hopefully it's going to work itself
yeah, if there's an
out.
issue with the roads, they hear about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're well aware.
And they were very receptive to,
Yeah,
a couple ideas, so.
great.
Yeah, the detours have changed traffic patterns considerably the
For
last
sure.
couple months too, which has made Long Lake and Cedar Run a lot worse, it seems like.
Well, and it sounds like the 7222 project is completed, a couple of last little items there, so that will help. The interlocking work that is going to be done next summer is going to affect patterns. And I know MDOT and the road commission are working to make that as best as they can, but they got to move traffic to fix roads, it's just kind of the nature of the beast. So they'll do what they can, and we'll have to deal with it for now.
Okay. Any other questions? Correspondence, so we have something in here from Garfield Planning Commission.
You do. It's a letter of intent, so they're going to start working on their master plan. They are legally obligated under the Michigan Planning Enabling Act to send all their neighboring jurisdictions their letter of intent. So that is included as it's addressed to you guys. Staff has not had time to review it, though I have talked with John a little bit about their plans moving forward. I'll keep you in the loop as well, and if you're interested, that letter directs you to everywhere they're going to put all their updates. So they're going to go electronic after this letter, so we won't receive any more correspondence by paper. If you want to see what's going on, Garfield Township website will have that information for us.
Okay. All right. And that's the only correspondence. So commissioner comments, does anybody have anything they want to discuss? I need my "that was easy" button. Okay. I guess we are looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Sherry and Tim, all in favor? Say
Aye.
Nobody wants to stay after, right? All right.